This video is going to be a very brief introduction to oxides and hydroxides with acidic and basic and amphoteric properties. And we're going to start by talking about basic oxides. With the exception of beryllium oxide, all of the oxides of group 1 and 2 metals are basic. And this means that they will react with water to make a basic solution. And here's a couple of examples. Potassium oxide, which is a group 1 metal oxide, reacts with water to make a KOH. Calcium oxide, which is from group 2, reacts with water to make calcium hydroxide. And as you know, both of these will dissociate in solution to produce hydroxide ion, which is why they are making a basic solution. And here's a few more examples of basic oxides that are pretty common. Acidic oxides are the oxides formed between nonmetals and the oxide ion, and they are acidic, which means that they react with water to make an acidic solution. And here are a couple of examples of acidic oxides that we find in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, which reacts with water to produce carbonic acid. Sulfur trioxide, which reacts with water to produce sulfuric acid. And here are a couple more atmospheric gases that are acidic oxides. The basic oxides will do an acid-base reaction with a strong acid. For example, magnesium oxide or sodium oxide, both of them will react with the strong acid HCl to produce an ionic compound, magnesium chloride or sodium chloride, and water. And likewise, the acidic oxides will react with bases, also an acid-base reaction. The CO2 or SO3 reacting with sodium hydroxide, they both produce an ionic compound and water. Some oxides are amphoteric, which means that they have both acidic and basic properties. They can act as an acid or a base depending on what they're reacting with. And the one that I want you to be familiar with is aluminum oxide. It can react with HCl to produce aluminum chloride and water. It can also react with the strong base sodium hydroxide to produce a sodium aluminum oxide and water. And there are others, but like I said, the aluminum oxide is the only one that I want you to be familiar with. And now we're going to talk about the hydroxides. You are familiar with hydroxides already because a hydroxide, OH-, is a strong base. Hydroxides formed with group 1 or 2 metals are basic, with the exception of beryllium hydroxide. And here are some examples of hydroxides that you've seen before. They should look familiar to you. And these things will dissociate in water to produce hydroxide ion, OH-, which is basic. Some hydroxides are amphoteric. This means that they will react with either an acid or a base. And again, there's only one example that I want you to be familiar with, and it is an aluminum hydroxide. And here you can see that it reacts with hydrochloric acid to produce aluminum trichloride, or it can react with the strong base sodium hydroxide to produce sodium aluminum hydroxide. And there are others, but the aluminum hydroxide is the only one that I need you to know.